Welcome back to the Quinexus podcast. I'm Chuck.
I'm Jack.
Today we're going to talk about quick wins for implementing cybersecurity. We've been hearing a lot about hacking in the news. We had the pipeline shut down. We had gas shortages. We're seeing images of people filling up Rubbermaid containers at gas stations. So cybersecurity is getting more attention in the news, public attention and business owners' attention. And a lot of businesses don't know where to start. So what are some first steps for that business who isn't doing anything right now to start to have more of a defense?
This is a really important topic because when we talk about cybersecurity, it is this big, vast, complex quagmire of minutia that is hard to understand. If you don't have a security program in place, it's very easy to get started. Don't pay attention and try to go through a formal risk assessment, incident response plan, business continuity plans. There are a few key things that every organization needs to do to protect themselves. And a quick list of them. Passwords. Having complex passwords goes a very long way to protecting your network. Simple passwords, the way criminals are hacking in, if they don't have your password, they might be using a brute force method where they run a dictionary attack. They have this big file of millions of passwords and they just start running it. And they hope to get lucky. So complex passwords is very important. Patch management. Computers have vulnerabilities and stability issues. Vendors push out patches and updates to keep your system stable. It's very important to keep them updated. Criminals are trying to take advantage of the vulnerabilities in the systems. If we remove the vulnerabilities, we make it much harder for a criminal to get into your system. AV, malware AV's antivirus. We have malware protection. Now we have EDR, which is endpoint detection and response or remediation protection. These solutions are all looking for anomalies on the network that are trying to possibly exploit that something hasn't been patched and stop it. Awareness training. Just talking about security and knowing what best practices are in your organization. There's a lot of free online tools, and sending out a monthly newsletter goes a long way to protecting the network. There's phishing tools you can implement that are very inexpensive and start phishing your own company and testing your company. Once these tools are implemented, people are much more aware and slightly become paranoid about clicking and opening emails because they don't want to get caught and embarrassed by an internal phishing email being opened. Your firewall. Firewalls come in many different types of flavors. Home-based firewalls in businesses is not appropriate. Next generation firewalls are a bit more expensive, but still affordable for the level of protection they provide you. Extremely important. They have antivirus engines, so they're looking for virus signatures in the firewall. They have IDS, intrusion prevention, intrusion detection signatures. They also have content filtering, where they will monitor what the sites a user is trying to go to, and will actually block a user from going to a malicious site or possibly a command and control center where someone is going to try to hack into your system and load ransomware on your system. In a previous video, we also talked about MFA, multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication is one of the most effective tools that in the firewall of protecting your network. So while you can go through a formal process, most organizations don't have the luxury, if they don't have a security program in place, to go through the formal process. They need to get started now. These are the tools that need to be implemented. And once you've got these tools implemented and documented and somewhat under control, then you could start growing your cybersecurity maturity level and start implementing a better program. But the basics are simple to implement. My message today is don't get caught up on all the minutia and details of putting in a full security program, get yourself protected, and then start working on improving your protections.
And many of the breaches we hear about, especially like the city governments or these, smaller IT departments that don't have the resources are not doing a lot of these things. They're using a 10-year-old version of Windows, or
Right.
they have one password for the whole office. So some simple steps you can put into place, even if, you don't have the ability to bring in an IT department. These are some quick wins to get yourself a lot safer.
A quick example, Olmsted, the Florida water treatment plant. The investigation turned up that they were using older systems. Everybody there had the same password. People had administrative access to the network, as well as they had some online tools that they were not using that were left on to let people remote into the network, which is actually how the hackers got into the network, was through some online tools and easy passwords. They just left the doors all open. Had they implemented a few controls, that never would have happened. Another issue that we're seeing real recently in the past is cybersecurity insurance, or cyber insurance. Most companies are now buying it because the threats are real and they're out there. In the past, what we've seen is companies get an application. You have to fill out the application and be upfront with your answers. And in the past, you could say, no, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. No. Oh, yeah, I do have a firewall, I do have AV. And typically, I don't recall anybody ever being denied cyber insurance with a bunch of no's on the questionnaire. Today, we are now seeing the questionnaire with a whole lot of survey questions, but there's a section at the bottom of the questionnaire in the application that says these controls must be implemented before we issue you your cyber insurance policy. And a lot of them have to do with the basics that we just talked about here. Multi-factor authentication, protecting administrative accounts, antivirus. The basics are what the insurance companies are looking for and actually starting to require. If you don't have a security program in place, if you're looking for a place to get started and need help, or you already have a IT security program in place and looking to expand it, one of the key areas of focus for Quinexus is assisting clients with cybersecurity. We work with many organizations in regulated industries. We are experts in implementing security controls. If you're looking for a place to start, or if you need help expanding the program you have, I'd be happy to come out and meet with you.
Thanks for joining us on another Quinexus podcast. If you enjoy this content, please like, comment, and subscribe wherever you're watching this, and we look forward to seeing you next time.